What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 10. Top DFS picks.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for this week's NFL slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, NFL Week 10, let's take a look at the quarterback position. My top DFS pick at the quarterback position is Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans playing the Cleveland Browns, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson has averaged 24.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5 rush attempts per game. He scored 24, 27, and 35 fantasy points in the last 3 games, and he got 10 rush attempts last game. He's projected at 23.4 fantasy points here in Week 10. He's $6,900 DraftKings salary and $1,400 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 54 points scored in this game, and they have the Texans trailing by 3.5. So you got a good matchup, a high-scoring game, and a passing game script, and you got the added upside of a rushing quarterback. So I like Deshaun Watson here versus the Cleveland Browns. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My top DFS pick at the running back position is Kareem Hunt from the Cleveland Browns playing the Houston Texans, who have the 2nd worst defense overall, and they give up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Kareem Hunt has averaged 15.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 14.4 rush attempts per game and 3.1 pass targets per game. He's projected at 19.4 fantasy points here in Week 10. He's $6,700 DraftKings salary and $800 more on FanDuel. So we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 54 points scored in this game, with the Cleveland Browns favored by 3.5. So fantastic matchup, high scoring game, and a running game script. So I like Kareem Hunt here versus the Houston Texans.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL, MLB is still going, NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My top DFS pick at the wide receiver position is Cooper Kupp from the LA Rams playing the Seattle Seahawks, who have the absolute worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Cooper Kupp has averaged 15.1 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.9 pass targets per game. He scored 25 fantasy points last game off of 21 pass targets. Unbelievable passing volume last game, and now he's facing the worst defense in the league in the Seattle Seahawks, who cannot stop any wide receiver so far this year. He is set up for a monster game, projected at 15 fantasy points here in Week 10. He's $6,900 DraftKings salary and $800 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 55.5 points scored in this game,
with the Rams favored by 1.5. So the Seattle Seahawks, they really cannot stop anybody so far this year, giving up a ton of points to wide receivers. Cooper Kupp should run all over that defense. Fantastic matchup, high scoring game. So I like Cooper Kupp here versus the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, let's take a look at the tight end position. My top DFS pick at the tight end position is TJ Hawkinson from the Detroit Lions, playing the Washington football team, who have a good defense overall, but they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. TJ Hawkinson has averaged 12.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.1 pass targets per game. He scored 15, 14, and 17 fantasy points in the last 3 games, and he got 8 and 10 pass targets in the last 2 games. He's getting more pass targets now that Kenny Golladay is out. He's projected at 11.9 fantasy points here in week 10. He's $5,100 DraftKings salary and $1,100 more on FanDuel. So he's got a nice matchup here, and I like the increased volume because of the injury to Kenny Golladay. So I like TJ Hawkinson here versus the Washington football team.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.